So I just wanted to make a quick video that goes over the functionality of grid fill and some of the common errors that people will run into using grid fill, because it's a really powerful operation, but some of the errors aren't clear in how you're supposed to resolve them. So I've just got this shape here. It's just completely random, just a few curved edges and all this, that, and the other. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of the interior verts. So now we're just left with this. And so to try to fill this manually, and manually place all of our loop cuts and get proper curvature and all that, it's going to be a massive headache. So we'd want to use our grid fill operation. But you'll notice if I go ahead and grid fill as of right now, this looks nothing like what I had at the start of the video, right? This is just an absolute mishmash and it's all over the shop. And sure, yes, we can go ahead and try to adjust the offset. And in this instance, changing this to 4, it seems to have resolved it quite nicely. But I certainly know that there are instances where it really doesn't matter how much you change this span and offset value, you just never actually end up getting the correct grid fill. But grid fill seems random in a lot of instances, right? Because, I do grid fill there and it goes all strange, but then I do it here and, my span is set to 4 and my offset 0. And last time I had to do 4 and 4 and then it worked, and this time it's 4 and 0 and it works just fine. And it seems completely random, right? Like, this doesn't make any sense. How do you go around figuring out, well, what did I do differently? So an interesting thing is that grid fill apparently works off of your active element selection. So in the first instance that I ran it, I had this vertex here as my active element, or my last selected element, and then I ran my grid fill. And you'll notice you always can get a bit of a tell of what the active element is, because you always get these triangular quad faces around the active element. And I don't fully understand what's going on underneath the hood for why this occurs, but a means of getting more consistent results if you are going to use the active element is to select a vertex in the corner of your mesh. So if I select this corner up in the top left-hand side here and run a grid fill, notice straight away it works, and the same goes for any of the other corners here. But as soon as I select a vertex along an edge and run a grid fill, once again, we get that triangular quad shape going on, and we get this really strange grid fill operation. So that's one of the common ones I definitely see people run into, and for me, for the longest time, I thought it was completely random, but yes, it is working off of your active selection. So a really good way to circumvent that is to hide the mesh or the loop selection, and then unhide it, and then run a grid fill. Or alternatively, you can always just fill in a big n-gon face and then run a grid fill, and that will also resolve it quite nicely as well. And just ignore that these are all going red. It's just because the faces are facing the wrong way, I can always just Alt-N and flip that to correct it. But then there's another error that people will probably commonly run into with grid fill, and that's trying to run a grid fill operation, and you get this error message saying, select 2 edge loops or a single closed edge loop from which 2 edge loops can be calculated, which is about as clear as mud. That makes no sense to anybody. What it's saying effectively is that we have an uneven amount of verts. So if I just have a look down in the properties here, I can see that we have 23 vertices, right? So that's uneven, and therefore we're not going to be able to get a perfect subdivided grid to fill in this area. So the best way I like to think about using a grid fill is that we have 4 sides. So we try to turn whatever our object is into a square, right? So in this instance, this isn't like a very clear sort of squared out shape, right? It's, rounded at every edge. So it's not really clear where, the top, bottom, left, right should start and finish. The way I try to look at it is, so we've got this edge as the top one here. So between this vertex and this vertex, I have, what do I have here? I have 7 verts. And so then between this vertex and this vertex, I also have 7 verts here. So I know the top and bottom values match. And then on the right-hand side here, I can see that I've got 3 verts. And then on the left-hand side here, I can see I've only got 2 verts. So I know that the top and bottom match, and I know that the left and right values don't match, and I know that the left-hand side is missing 1 vertex, right? So I can cut that in, and so now I have 7 across the top, 7 across the bottom, 3 across the right, and 3 across the left. Therefore, everything's even, and that will allow us to run a grid fill and get a perfect grid fill shape. So you always just want to try to simplify the shape into, something that's more square or rectangular, right? Something like this. My terrible drawing abilities. And so knowing the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across the top, Then we have 1, 2, 3 across the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across the bottom, and then 1, 2, 3. So this is how I try to visualize things, just as like a square or a rectangle. Hopefully it sort of helps illustrate to you guys as well what I'm doing. And then sort of just like transposing this shape mentally to go like, okay, well, here's the top, here's the bottom, here are the sides. And that just helps me organize it with my topology so that I know how to get an even grid fill on my object. I think the biggest one is always just ensuring the fact that you actually have an even amount of verts in your grid fill selection, but ensuring the fact that you have even verts on the top, bottom, left, and right. As you know, I could make this even by just cutting in an extra vertex here, right? And then doing a grid fill. But even though we have an even distribution of vertices, they're not evenly distributed across the top, bottom, left, and right. So while, yes, this does grid fill, it's a bit of a strange sort of result. So ensuring it's even across all 4 sides is also important. And then finally here, just to wrap all this up, I'm just going to delete this left-hand side here of verts, and I'm just going to flip this around. Another common error that you might run into, and once again, it's a little bit of a strange one, so let's just go ahead, let's select all these, and let's use my logic from before. So let's select the corner as our active element and try to run a grid fill. That one worked. That one worked. This one didn't work. Cool. All right. So you can see that we've got the error of connecting edge loops overlap, right? And now I got no idea why it worked for this one, it worked for this one, and it didn't work for this one, despite in the first example, this one working, right? So if I just try this again, so I'll go ahead, select this. So grid fill, that doesn't work. Grid fill, that doesn't work, all right? So pretty much if you get connecting edge loops overlap, one, I don't actually understand what that means, but we can actually fix this by just expanding the grid fill operation and just mucking around with the offset and the span here. So as you can see, I just adjust the offset to 4 in this instance, and it corrects itself. So the overlapping error isn't the end of the world. You can actually still fix it with the offset here. I suppose similar to the first error of, you know, not selecting a vertex in the corner. You can sort of correct both of these in the same way. So hopefully this has been helpful in sort of demystifying some of the strange behaviors of the grid fill operation. But hopefully this sort of just helps you use grid fill more consistently and not run into problems while using it. And I shall see you all in the next one.